The first in the series of Connect2Create workshops was run on Thursday the 26th of July 2021. Led by visual artist Gigi Jones, the session was open to disabled people in Wales, encouraging them to experiment with textures, materials and styles to create unique pieces of art.
Are we good to go? Hi, Mena.
I think so. So what paper are we using, Gigi?
Okay, so first of all, this is just the first warm-up exercise, and you'll need your A4 paper. That's kind of printer paper size. And you'll need your strong coffee or your ink if you have it, or your food colouring. You remember on the list I sent out, I suggested you get something that you can make liquid marks with. If you don't have ink, you could make very strong coffee. I made this last night and let it evaporate a bit. And here's some food colouring and some materials that will help you just make quick splodgy marks. So I've got a bit of cotton wool here, a bit of a sponge, a rag, and a makeup brush that my daughter gave me. So this exercise is really just purely about loosening up, and it's only part one. I'm not going to tell you what they're going to end up with. So we're going to do something here, and then we're going to leave it to put it to dry, and then come back to it at the end. Okay. So has everybody got those things or something like it near them now? So you need your A4 paper and something liquid and some materials to put that messy liquid stuff on. I'm going to assume that you have. If you haven't, don't worry, you'll catch up anyway, because this is just not rocket science. It's not clever. It's just having fun, okay? It's something everybody can do. So excuse me while I switch between my camera again. Here we go. And this is just making blobs. And you think, she's an artist and she's telling us to make blobs? Well, yes, because this is all about having the courage to make a mark that's messy, that isn't something that you think is got to be good, okay? And you're just going to feel the mark. So all I'm going to do first of all is get a sponge here, and I'm going to try the coffee, and I'm just going to make a quick gestural mark. Oh, that went a bit wild. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Woo.
Let's see if I can try one that's slightly more controlled. I'm just going to squish it in like that. And put that out the way. Now I'm going to try this bit of J cloth, and let's go for the orange food dye. I'm going to smoosh it on like that. Let's try another one here with a different kind of movement.
This is really messy, but it's so much fun.
It is very messy, and that's why I've got another piece of card that I'm going to take out the way in a minute. And the last one, because this is messier than the rest.
Okay, my daughter's putting an apron on me.
Good.
There we go. So I would cover up if I was you, because this is quite messy, but it's also quite beautiful.
But this one is going to come with a little bit more force, and I might just mess my workspace up. So I've got a big floppy makeup brush and some ink. And I'm going to go, oops, like that. And on the next one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of water down first and see what happens if I splat it in like that. Whoa, that was a bit wild. So do you see what I'm doing? quite a mess. And of course, what you can do is encourage it a bit. Maybe if you have a spray water bottle like that, you could put a tiny bit of that in as well and see what happens. Okay, so that's all we're going to do for the moment. And I'm going to put that to one side to dry, and hopefully it will be dry enough by the end of the workshop to continue with, to do something else with. So do I need to give you a couple more minutes to do that, guys? Yeah. I'll put that away over there. And while you're doing that, I'll just clear my space. Does anybody want to ask anything at this point? Like, what on earth was that for? I seem to have lost your audio, Radha. I'm reading your lips. I think you said, I know.
Is that better? I've unmuted myself.
Yay!
Hey. I was muted for a while because it was just going on and on. I was getting very excited.
I thought you were.
I really, really enjoyed that exercise. It was everything. It was coffee, it was food coloring, it was spray bottle. And I can't wait to show you the result once it's dried. I mean, anyone can be an artist.
So Lucy's holding something up. Oh, wow, look at those. I think we've got an expressionist in the room.
Wonderful. Let's have a look at
all
Lucy.
about loosening up. Lovely. Wow.
Beautiful, Lucy. That's fantastic.
So you can really let out your pent-up feelings with this, can't you? Splash it all out.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, are you ready for the next one? Yeah?
I am.
Okay, so another piece of A4 paper. And this one is slightly different. It's going to be all about control. So the last one was letting go of control. This one is all about control. And the rule is you're going to use one line to make a drawing without taking your pen off the paper.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So that stops you from doing anything too planned. Okay. What you're trying to do is get the idea from your head through to your pen and miss out all the stuff in between that says, oh no, it's not good enough. It's got to be like this. It's got to be like that. Okay. And normally I would say we'll time this, but I think we'll just have a go at one and then see where we go from there. I usually give it about 30 seconds. So that's generally just to say, do it quickly without thinking, other than have an idea of an animal in your head. Okay, so this could be your favorite animal, like a horse, Lucy, or in my case, I think I might go for a cat because I think they got loads of characters. And just think of the character of that animal. And when you're ready, put your pen on the paper and start to draw that animal, but you mustn't take the pen off until you've finished. Okay, so you can't lift it and start again somewhere else. And I'm forever doing that. So what I'm going to try and do is stick to my own rule here and go for a cat. Let me see. Cat. You know what they're like when they're in a fight and their back goes all kind of arched. And they go, rawr. Gets a bit tricky when you get to the eyes and you can't take your pen off the paper. So, do you see what I mean? Let me hold that a bit closer. So it's one line only.
Even the eyes you did with only one line. I'm trying very hard to do a squirrel and it's come out looking really awful.
Well, does
So
anybody want to share their first attempt?
Do I have to?
Yeah,
Yes.
say, are we able to change spotlight, Rada? Because
Yes.
if Lucy just then put a picture up close to the camera, we could take
Okay.
a screenshot then, can we really?
Yeah, take it. I have technical support. If we could change the spotlight onto Lucy. Hello, Lucy. That's
can you hold it up
wonderful.
close?
Have we got the right side? Yeah.
Is it that side? Yeah.
Yeah, I think have you used a pencil?
Lucy, use a
Right.
pen.
Got a pen. Use a pen for the next one, and then we can see it.
Yeah, and if you do it then, Lucy, if you hold it up close to the camera, you know, I won't take an image of you if we don't have permission, but I could certainly.
We have permission, luckily. Lucy's mum has given us permission, so that's wonderful.
Thank you. Lucy's mum, I hope, has got a name.
It's Keris.
Thank you, Keris. Thank you.
Can I just butt in and say, Lucy, you know, when you're doing you moving your pen just now, or your pencil, you were doing some lovely stroking movements like that. But you know what? Your pen was coming off the paper. So this time, try and imagine your pen tip is stuck to the paper and you can't get it off, okay? So shall we have another go?
Do you want to see my mouse?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Can you see it?
Oh,
that's my mouse. I've never claimed to be artistic, but I'm really.
But can you see they get real character? And if you tried to plan or invent that particular Mr. Mouse, you wouldn't be able to do it if you planned it, would you?
Yeah.
So have another one. Have a go at Mrs. Mouse.
If anybody else is sat in now and watching, and they would love to share their picture with us, we'd really love to see it. If you could hold it up to the screen, let me know, and I can take a screenshot, because we'd really love to share that with people. Oh, a little bit closer. Are you on spotlight there? Let's see if we. Hang on a moment. Can you spotlight yourself? That's it. Right. Could you hold it still for me, please? Thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Fantastic, Diane.
Rada, you keep muting yourself.
Oh, could you hold it up a bit closer? I can see some of the residents have done something there. Can we spotlight? Oh, I love it.
Dean done a snail.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, so obviously a snail. And can you see
that
it?
Is a snail.
And the way the line has been drawn, it really looks like a snail trying to go faster.
It's really fluid.
Fantastic.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, that is so good.
That is fun.
That is fantastic.
That's a very chilled elephant, isn't it? Very happy in himself.
Have we got any more from Dana Bryn? That elephant is so good. Shows why I gave up art.
Oh, yes. Could you hold it?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Tell us about that one.
Dean, what was this one? It was a sheep.
Very good.
Like a sheep rolling over.
Oh my God, that's a person.
But this person must have taken their pen off the paper, mustn't they?
Thank you.
No. Try the next one without taking your pen off the paper.
Lucy.
Let me try that.
Yeah, and I wonder if Lucy's got any others as well to share.
Shall we try another one? You could keep these going over and over, couldn't you? I'm going to see if I can channel my inner cat.
There we go. Thank you. What's that say? Why the shout? So I've just done a person. I'm very proud of it. So if someone could spotlight my wonderful person.
Whoa. Is that Teggett?
It looks like him, doesn't it?
And I've tried to draw my third one, my cat when he's crying out for his food.
Yeah, Rada, can I see Rada again, please, Radas? Thank you. Because you're not spotlighted, Rada.
Okay, I'll see where I can get spotlight.
Yay.
I love my person.
Don't you think they're way more expressive when you've got that continuous line you can't quite control?
Definitely.
I think it connects somewhere with what's inside you and how you want it to be. You're kind of imagining in your head, you're drawing the line in your head, and hopefully it's coming all the way through to your pen.
Anyone else want to spotlight what they've done?
What's that one? Lucy. Lucy's done another one.
Yeah, can we spotlight Lucy, please? Thank you. Oh,
that is
brilliant.
Fantastic. That's really good.
Bravo.
So did we want any more time on that particular exercise before we go on to the main one?
How about everyone do one last one and we can have a look at what they've done and then we can move on. Mainly because I want to do one more person.
Okay, go.
Go. I'll try and do a lady this time. It is so much harder than it looks, Gigi.
It is, isn't it? I've tried to do my cat when he's asleep and he's finished his food.
This looks like a really scary person. That's beautiful, Gigi. I don't know if anyone wants to see what I've just done. It looks like a scary Harridan.
Of course.
But, of course.
Oh my goodness. Is this your alter ego?
Thank you. Have a look at my squirrel. It turned out really badly.
But there's something about it. Do you know that looks more like a profile of somebody?
Yeah. Oh, does it? I hadn't thought of that.
What's that, Sarah? Come on, let's see. Whoa, a dragon. I really like what it does to the eyes. Because you've got to scroll around and find the eye. Anybody from Granbryn? Oh wow, what's this?
This is Sarah's spider.
Wow.
That is great feedback.
He's running quite fast, isn't he? Anybody else there in Dana Bryn want to share?
Frank, do you want to show yours?
2904. Frank's got a spider.
Brilliant. Well, look at him. Doesn't he look like he's moving fast with those squiggly legs?
Anybody else want to show? Dean, do you want to show yours?
I can see someone there doing really well keeping their pen on the paper.
There you go, there's David.
Oh my goodness, that one in the middle, what is that? That is fantastic, so
What
expressive.
do you say in the middle? A monster.
That is brilliant. Love the lines in that one. So, have we had enough of that one, or shall we move on?
Let's move on. I can't compete with all this wonderful artistry, so I'm going to say let's move on.
Okay, so should I just mention that with those, it's quite a cool way of, if I switch my screen again, if you do this a lot, you might find you add up quite a few, and what you could do is add colour afterwards, and you could even imagine you're cutting that out and sticking it on a card to send to someone who loves cats.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Quite good, wouldn't it, for a greetings card? So
Gigi, is that how you made those? Was it without removing your pen off the paper?
yes, so they were one-liners, just like the ones we've just been doing.
They're amazing.
And then I played around with colour afterwards on another set I did. And if I hadn't done them quite so close together, I could cut that out and make a greetings card out of it for my mother-in-law, because she loves cats. Okay then.
Do you have a cat, Gigi?
I do. Well, he's actually not really my cat. He's my son-in-law.
Do you steal a cat? No.
No, my son-in-law, when he first met my daughter, had a cat, and they got together and they came to live with us for a bit because they were doing up a house. And when it was time to move into their own house, my son-in-law said, "Oh, can the cat stay with you? We don't think he wants to downsize." But he's a very strange cat because he'd always been a house cat. And then as soon as he moved here, he started to learn to hunt and do all those things. But he's a bit weird. His teeth and his tongue are too big for his mouth.
What?
Very strange look.
He needs braces.
Yes, yeah. Okay, are we ready for the main activity?
Yes.
Well, we're going to go for the bigger paper now. That's the A3.
A3, okay.
And what I want you to do is just fold it into 4. So once, open it out and fold it again. So you get 4 boxes. Okay. Or if you prefer, you could just draw a line like that and another line like that so you can see where the boxes are. And that's all you need to do. And while you're doing that, I might just show you another way of dividing your paper, which is what I'm going to use today, because it's quite cool. If once you've done the paintings, you can tear this paper off and it gives you nice straight edges. So what I've done is I've painted the paper first with house paint, and then I've taped off the edges here and in the middle with low tack tape that you can get from a hardware store or online, or the cheapest is the Watch Shop. And it's not as sticky as ordinary masking tape, so that you can peel it off afterwards. But that's another thing to do if you want to try that out another time, okay? But for the moment, the folded paper is perfectly good for just dividing up your piece of paper into boxes. So has everybody got that? Yeah, great. I can see Lucy's ready. Dana Bryn, you ready? Yeah. Okay, now, do you remember those materials I asked you to start collecting at home? Well, what I'd like you to do is take the dry ones first. So no inks or food dyes or anything like that yet. We're going to start with the dry ones. So I'll just show you what I've got in my box. I may not use them all, but they're ordinary things. So biros, fine line pen, children's felt pen, colouring pencil. There's another colouring pencil, a nice big fat child's pencil, a bit of chalk, more chalk, charcoal. You may not find that unless you've been having a campfire recently. You might be able to take some charcoal from there. Highlighter pen. You get the idea, yeah? There's a wax crayon there. And this is quite good fun to use. It's an ordinary wax candle. Okay, so once you've got your materials nearby, just the dry ones, I want you to think about words that are opposite. So what I'm saying is things like straight, curved, loud, quiet. And before we start on this piece of paper, maybe you'd like to make a little list to remind you, or even call some of them out if you'd like to share them. Anybody? Sarah, you like words?
Sorry, what word? What word do you want me to say?
Think of opposite words.
Oh, hot, cold.
Hot, cold, yeah.
A fuzzy, sticky.
Good.
Oh, fluffy, sharp.
Anybody else want to chip in here?
Safe, scared.
Rada, you've got an echo going on there with your audio.
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone's unmuted my.
No, you did one.
No. I need to unmute. Sorry, everybody. Anyway.
That's okay. Dana Bryn, you got any opposite words? Words that are very different from each other? So we could have straight or curvy. I think I can't hear you, Dana Bryn.
There we go. So what did we say? We got fast and slow.
Great, that's a really good one.
Happy, sad.
Yeah.
Any other opposites, guys? Winter, summer.
Think of feelings as well and the way we move.
Heavy and light.
Excellent. So what I want you to do is think of opposites and take one of your dry materials. I'm going to start with my woody pencil, which is just a child's pencil, and you'll be able to see it more easily. And you've got 4 boxes. So I want you to just go from the first one, each time go to one at a time in the same order. And in the first box, just make a mark that feels like loud or one of your words. And then in the next box, do a mark that sounds like it's opposite. That could be quiet. And keep going, just thinking opposite each time you move to a box, okay? So we've got loud, quiet, curvy, straight. Okay, and when you've got back to the beginning, just take another material, one of your other dry materials, and go again. So I'm going to go natural, man-made, bumpy, jagged. And I'm already noticing that I've tended to put the same kind of mark in these boxes. So I'm going to keep a lookout for that next time I go around. So all you're doing is taking each of your materials and going one at a time in each box and trying to do something different from the last mark you made in each box. Does everybody get that? Do you want to give me a thumbs up or just ask if you're not sure? Great. And just keep going round, trying out the different materials, doing something different from the one you did last. And you can go over the last marks. Don't worry about sort of having to use the whole space, just go where it feels right. Where you happen to want to go.
Hold here for now. Thank you. Pass them to me, I could do it. Now.
How are we doing?
Said I could do it. Use your mouth. Those are my hands.
Sometimes it's quite good fun
curvy.
to use
Spiral.
part of your body that you wouldn't normally hold the thing in. So it could be your other hand, or if you're feeling adventurous, your toes or your mouth to hold the thing that you want to draw with, and that gives you less control, which is sometimes good. So I'm using my non-dominant hand here.
Just have to use it, put it in your mouth. I'm sure I wanted to try to do it with them. I don't normally show. I could be kidding.
Don't forget to leave some white space as well, but see if you can get some nice different marks within each box. And you can stop every so often and have a look and say to yourself, well, what haven't I got in this one? To me, it all seems a bit samey, all a bit curvy. So I'm going to put some bold straight lines in there now, just to put something different in. And this one, I'm going to put some circle spirally things. Oops, broke my crayon. You could even do some handwriting for the next one. So I'm going to just sign my name across this one several times. And I'm going to do it in bold capital letters. My pen can't cope. Try a different one. I'm going to write my name over and over and over and over across this one. This one's going to be a scribble, just because. How are we doing with that so far? All okay there? Broken lines are good too. Sometimes we think it's got to be a nice, clean, continuous line like we did in the first exercise, but actually broken lines are quite expressive as well. Bots, blobs.
Love that.
What else could I use? I quite like using opposite colours as well. So two very different colours sometimes give an extra bit of interest. I keep breaking my pencils, folks.
Well, Gigi, this is like nothing I've ever made.
I think it's like nothing I've ever made before, because each time you do this, it's going to be completely different. And it's just about you being in the moment and enjoying the different kinds of marks that each tool can make. So something big and smudgy like charcoal, you can't possibly do something delicate with. So it sort of makes you find out more about what that's good for, and then go back to something sharp and fine and compare it.
It's quite liberating.
Yes.
To just have a go.
Exactly. Nothing to do with whether you've been trained in art or anything like that. It's just having fun with colour and marks.
I love that there's no right or wrong answer.
Exactly. Well, you see, I think everybody is creative. All of us are. If you think about when you're a small child, You didn't judge what you did you? And you didn't think
No.
it had to be a certain way. You just did it the way you wanted to do it right there and then.
How do we get that back?
You've just got to try and channel your inner child, haven't you? And be a child more often.
I just love what you've done with the charcoal. That
I love
makes a
charcoal.
really strong mark.
It does, and that's using it on its side rather than trying to use it in a way that's charcoal's not good for. You know, if I try and do something delicate with it, doesn't really, well, I can do some little sharp marks, but essentially it's better at doing those big messy marks. I could even smudge it a bit if I wanted. So should we have a quick look at what people have done so far?
Okay. So we need to put the spotlight on various people. Thank you, Manna.
Lucy.
So this is what I did.
Thanks, Lucy. Could you move it over a
Lovely.
little bit, Alan? That's fantastic.
Lovely.
That's wonderful.
See if you can do some more on there. Get rid of some more of the white, just for fun. Wow, look at that.
Could you move it over, please? I can't see it. Thank you, Rada.
Rada, try and do some blockier stuff as well.
Okay, I need to make a stronger mark. So
think of the opposite. So if you did delicate, do something bold. If you did something bold, try and think about something very delicate. What we got, Dana Bryn here.
Oh, thank you, Dana. Oh,
wow.
Wow.
And Sarah, I love the way you, is that your name?
Yeah, there's Sarah.
Yeah.
And now we've got Dave.
Brilliant.
Wow, I love it.
Lovely.
Isn't
Keep
it
going, just do a bit
interesting?
more, and don't be afraid to go over some of the marks you already made.
I love that.
Just about abstract stuff. Yeah, who's this now?
This is Frank.
Water, 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 love water. How about some watery, think of other water shapes, like splashes, splash shapes. Just go for it, chuck it all on there. I'd like to just show you something that you can do with a wax candle. And you're going to see, you're going to think, hang on a minute, we can't see that, can we? A clear wax candle, there's no way you can see that. But all will be revealed.
They can't hear us anyway.
Okay, so you can't see anything I've done there, can you? It's the secret magic wax candle effect that will show when we start using the liquid.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Do we have a white crayon?
It could be a white crayon, a light crayon. Wax crayons will work too. Lovely, Lucy.
That's not Lucy. I think that's... What's your name, young man?
Who's this?
This is Henry. Can you hear us?
Henry.
Hey,
Henry.
Henry.
Wow. Hold it a bit closer, Henry.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, I love those marks.
I think Henry needs more color next.
Yes.
You can try and put some more on.
Yeah.
There we go. There's
A big dark light, bold, quiet. What else do I have on my heavy light? Try and make a quick mark and then a very slow one. Scratchy, soft.
Okay, we're having a go with the colorless candle.
Hey, excellent. Doesn't have to be colorless, but there's a more magical effect with a colorless one.
Okay, Manna, what about squares on there?
And when you think you've
You're welcome.
Oh, sorry, that Siri is just getting in on the act here. Go away, Siri. So, shall I give you a couple more minutes on that before we move on? I think maybe you could think about putting more marks in the areas that are white still. And think about doing something that's very different from what you've got already. So if all your marks have been a bit the same, think, what can I do to do something very different next time? You could choose a much thicker tool. If it's a crayon, maybe use it on its side, see what happens.
We are using a birthday candle.
Excellent.
It's white glittery birthday candle. So I don't know if any of the glitter will come off. I don't think it will. Even
better. People will be asking you in years to come, how on earth did you get that effect?
Unintentionally.
But you know, I find even in my own paintings, the things I do less intentionally often look better because they have, I suppose they have more of my subconscious in them. You know, I'm not worried so much. They have a more...
Okay. The thing about doing it with an invisible wax candle is that you can't tell what you're doing.
Exactly.
Which is nice, so you just go for it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Dwi'n dechrau poison.
Has everybody tried writing their name differently across those things? Or maybe just doing their initials on one, or trying another way of writing it? Of course, I've just tried to go over my wax candle with a felt pen, which isn't going to work. Now, while you're finishing off there, I'm going to start bringing my wet materials closer. And then I'll get a heads up from you, Radha, when you think everyone's ready to go on.
Just give me a moment, because my position in my chair is veering off.
We're just going to do something quickly.
If anyone's ready, just waiting to go on to the next stage, now would be a good time to put some paint out. And I'm going to say just choose two colours and black, two colours and white. I'll repeat that in a minute anyway, but just to let you know. I think we've lost Radha again, have we? Is there anybody there who'd like to share again?
Yeah, just to say she was readjusting her position. Oh,
right. Lucy's done some more. I know. See, Lucy, the more you put on it, the more interesting it gets, doesn't it?
Yeah. I can't take an image at the moment because Radha's in charge of spotlighting. I think they're just she slipped in a chair a little. So.
And how are we getting on, Dana Bryn? Are we getting rid of some of that white? Lovely. I can only see you in the distance there, but I'm sure when we're back on the spotlight function, we can have another look. Oh, yes. Dave again. Let's have a look. Yeah.
Filling up a bit.
Yeah. So Dave, I think what you should try and do is be bold and just take a line through on top of some of those marks now. Yeah. Don't worry about going over other things partly, because that gives it more interest. And how's Henry getting on with this one? Oh, yes. Now, how about taking some of the marks to the edges, Henry? You've got whitish corners. That's looking fab, though, isn't it? And Lucy's? Do you want to show us yours again, Lucy? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Can you see how different yours and Henry's are? And that I always find really fascinating, because only you can make your marks and only Henry can make his. And it shows your personalities in a way, doesn't it? I think too many of us always try and draw things that look a bit like other people's things, when really we should be concentrating on what our own marks are, not what other people do. Have we lost Radha, Sarah?
No, we haven't.
There she is.
I just changed chair because it's getting a bit hot here.
You're
And
in the conservatory, aren't you?
I go all floppy, so I've changed to a more supportive chair. But I'm back, and Mena's carried on creating without me, and it's looking really amazing.
So you're doing a joint one, are you?
Well, she's helping me with, because my left side is paralyzed.
Yeah.
She's helping me with all the fine stuff.
Excellent.
I could do with my right hand, but not with my left. So we've got the paint mixed. Do you want to see it? I'll try and show it before. Okay, everyone, this is what we have so far.
Yeah, you can do the spotlight, and then
okay, we'll do the spotlight in a minute, because Teggy just had to help me change chairs. I'll keep it there, and we'll do a spotlight coming up.
There's
and
a
so
vibe.
Shall everyone show their art before the paint, so we can have an idea of?
It might be harder to hold it up when it's wet, so yes.
True. So hold it up now, everyone, so we can see the marks that you've made.
Oh,
beautiful.
Yeah.
And look,
okay,
so full of life, that one, isn't it?
Well, there was no plan. Wow, Sarah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Can't wait to see it after the paint.
Yeah.
So should we be making the paint quite liquid?
Well, I'll talk to you about that now.
Okay.
Beautiful, Dave.
Beautiful. Yay! I can't see. Who's the boy in the blue
on the left
t-shirt?
here.
Yeah.
On the left of my screen, there's some beautiful autumn colours going on there.
It's very good.
Oh, well done.
Lovely.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
Excellent.
We'd love to see that one.
Okay, right. Let me talk to you a little bit about the wet materials before we actually go on, okay? So what I'm going to do is switch screens again. I've put out 2 colours and some white. I don't think we want to complicate it with too many other colours at the moment. So choose 2 of your favourite opposite colours, I would say, ones that are very different from each other, and some white. And we won't water anything down yet. We'll talk about that in a minute, but have your water pot nearby. I've got a yogurt pot, which has already got mucky with ink. So let's get the clean one. So I've got a water pot. And I've of course got my food colouring, my ink and my coffee. I might not use all of them, but this is the most important bit. The tools that we use to apply it with, okay? So in my box here, I've got some twigs I got from the garden this morning. I've got random bits of a cable tie, this strange thing here, which
Dan and Bryn have to leave us now because they have a set lunch.
Right.
Said they
Oh.
enjoyed the session and they'll do some painting afterwards. Thank you, Dan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.
Bye. Take care.
This session runs till 1, so anyone is welcome to pop in again before the end of the session.
Yeah, maybe even for the finishing off the blobs.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my box here, I've got lots of random things I've collected to use instead of paintbrushes. Okay, so I've got a feather, a twig. Here I've got some string that I've attached to the end of a pencil.
Wow.
A bit of bubble wrap. Random bits of card. Bit of plastic. Broken old paintbrush. A bit of wool, and some of these ear buddies. I think I've got some cotton wool as well. And I have got 1 or 2 paintbrushes. I don't use those too much, okay? So I've got a nice thin one.
We've got some scrapers.
Excellent. And you just reminded me, I've got a go outdoors discount.
Oh, you
Really
won't be able
handy.
to use that. You won't be able to use that anymore.
No. Okay, so that's the idea. We're basically going to go around all our boxes again and try out different ways of putting those liquid materials on. And I suggest that you don't put too much on at once, otherwise everything's going to blend and get really messy. And if you use the paint, try out, let me just demonstrate here. Try out using it, obviously with different brushes and materials, but try using it thin, sometimes thin. So I'm just going to mix a little bit of water in with it on the palette there and see what kind of line that gives you. See, I'm not trying to do anything accurate. I'm just exploring how the line works. If I make it thicker and I just blotch it on like that, that'll give me something different. And this is where the credit card might come in handy. And I'm just going to use a little bit of that white there. And I'm going to smear it over. I'm just going to take a swoosh across. And what you get there, just put this out of the way. I don't know if you can see it. Where I've pressed harder, I can see more of what went before. Where it's thicker, it gives a completely different, more opaque effect.
I think I should use a brush.
And if I were to take...
Nice.
If I were to take a stick or the wrong end of my paintbrush into that thick paint, I can make another line, another kind of line. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, again, think about each time you go in each box about doing something different from what you did in the previous one.
Oh.
And if I just demonstrate one more thing, I'm going to take a flat brush, which you've all got.
Use this spot. Yep.
And I'm going to use fairly thin, runny paint. The opposite one this time. I'm going to see what happens if I go over the area I think my wax candle was in.
Yay! It's working.
It resists it, doesn't it? So you're going to get some interesting... Yeah. I wish I could remember it sort of where it was.
We're starting to see the resistance.
Yeah.
Resistance is not futile in this case.
Exactly.
I love that.
You find it might work better and you'll see it better when it's dry.
Yes. We're seeing it now. It's very, very striking.
Yeah. So what else was I going to show you? Of course, you can dab at it as well. Where it's over the wax, you can accentuate that effect. And I'm over here. I don't know if you can see it clear enough. You could just dab at it with kitchen roll, and that'll lift off the paint from where the wax was. If I hold that a bit closer, can you see a sort of circular effect around here?
Yes, definitely. We've got some really strong wax resist here
So
with our birthday candle.
So again, it's opposites. It's subtle and it's not so subtle.
Love it.
And next to each other. What happens is, you see, our eyes always see strong differences first. So when you look at something like a painting, you're going to be drawn to the areas which have most difference between them. So darkest next to lightest and things like that. And then afterwards, you might see the more subtle marks.
I love it because we're putting on yellow paint over red marker and it's coming out orange.
Yes.
Really lovely.
So you get some nice mixtures going on.
Yeah,
you might
it's
find
beautiful.
Certain pens that you use, some biros, for instance, once you put something wet on them, they bleed a little and you get an extra effect that way as well.
Okay. We are going for pink now.
So keep an eye on what you're doing and try and leave some of the things that you like. So now it's more about thinking more about where you're putting the next mark rather than going randomly everywhere, yeah?
Yeah. Because we have a canvas to work on now. I have to say that the wax resist is very difficult to see. So it's a great surprise when you put the paint on.
Yes.
And you realize that you've got wax resist, and it's just wonderful.
It gives you an effect you couldn't possibly
have planned. No.
Yeah.
Can I do that lower?
There's something else I like to do, which can get a bit messy, is to take something runny, and I'll use my ink here and try not to get it absolutely everywhere. And I'm going to blob some along the edge, and that gives you a lovely contrast. You can lift the paper up and let it drip and run.
We've got some drips from the top quadrant onto the bottom one, and I think they're quite attractive. They're not exactly what we wanted because the food coloring is quite liquid.
Yes.
I was going to say, I'm just watching Lucy now. Lucy's really going for it. I love that
Look, Lucy.
You were doing then.
What were you doing then, Lucy?
I was dipping my finger in the paint and then splodging it on the paint.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, brilliant. Hasn't that really come alive?
Okay. That is amazing. I love it. What about Henry?
Henry. Oh, he's not done yet. He does. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, he's still busy, aren't you? Oh,
oh I love that.
I love the red one's fab.
Ah, I love the caterpillar in green.
I think that's a mermaid, isn't it?
Is it a mermaid? Mena thinks it's a mermaid. What does Henry say?
Have you got a spray bottle, Lucy, with water by any chance?
Yeah, hang on. I'll grab a spray bottle. Interesting.
I'm talking about this.
Can we show ours?
No.
Yes.
We've got one.
Ooh.
Well, I can use your phone to show.
So, if you're ready with your spray bottle, I'm going to suggest you get something, your strongest runny material. Wow. Look at those colours, aren't they beautiful? And can you see with the marks, you're getting hard, soft, you're getting a variety of textures. So just going to show you. If I go for, let's see now, I'm going to go for this one here. I'm just going to put some ink on there.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I'm going to get my spray bottle, add a little bit of water, and that'll help it run. And if your paper's still absorbent, it'll make it. Can you see that bit in the middle there?
That's stunning.
You get some really nice effects that way. And if you get too much of a puddle going on, obviously you can go back in and dab it with a bit of kitchen roll, and that'll give you another effect as well.
It's my nature.
You have a look at what you've got. What haven't you got on your piece of paper? Is it all the same sort of
We
colour?
put everything on.
Vary it up. Do you need some very dark or some very light?
We haven't got any black on,
Try
but
putting
I'm a bit
black on.
scared of that. I'm a bit scared of it. Maybe we can blob black on and then spray paint it.
If you have a look at this here, Ada, I'm going to put some black, more black on here.
Whoa.
You can see the resist bit coming.
Yes.
And if you look carefully, you get some gorgeous little subtle marks coming through the black there.
Yeah, you can't do that on purpose. It just happens.
And then if you dab away at it, you might be able to get a little bit more variety as well.
Oh, it's stunning.
Even try a spray bottle again.
Okay. Mena, gamni keshato, please. Na, a rin gyda black. Mae'n iawn, dripio yn iawn. Hello. Having an argument about dripping and messes.
In Welsh.
Yeah, it's magic any pawb. Yeah. I just want to put some black on it. Dripping is fine. It can go for drying afterwards, can't it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Twig?
I have not got a twig, but that would have been nice.
You could send someone into the garden to get you one.
Yeah.
Because that's quite a nice drawing tool as well.
Yeah. Right, here we go. Here we go in with some black. Wish me luck.
You're going to get some lovely marks with a twig, by the way.
I've done the black. I'm not sure what I think. I better spray bottle it away. It does show up the wax resist really well.
Yes.
But I'm wondering whether it's also covering up loads of other marks.
Well, now, what you need to do above all is not allow yourself to be too precious about something you've got already.
Okay.
Because you'll never discover the next thing. If
but
you're
I like
trying to protect, you can try again, can't you?
Yeah.
But you'll never discover anything new if you always play safe.
True.
You'll never get to that place where you can say, wow, I never knew you could do that if, you know.
Yeah, there are no rules. I'm telling myself there's no rules.
So it's better to be brave and waste some paper.
Yeah.
And also, Rada, you can do this afterwards when it's dry. You can come back in with something lighter again.
Yes. I think I'll have to do that. Because I think I've painted black over all the white bits.
That's all right.
Which I quite liked, but I've got a photo from before. So now I'm going to try and be more controlled with the black. Because I think my first two goes were a little bit.
That's an interesting point, though, isn't it? Control versus lack of control.
Yeah.
It's like the first two exercises. If you don't have any control going on, then you can get something very expressive.
Yeah. But it's not necessarily what you wanted. So it's important to keep
in between is quite cool.
Yeah. I think it's the experience of knowing, how much black I can put on. And I think I went over the top with the lower left quadrant, but I can always paint white over it afterwards.
Exactly. That's the whole
So
thing. Painting is layering, isn't it? A lot of us think it's just the first mark you made must be the final thing, and if you don't like it, it's no good. It's nothing of the sort, because you can keep going back in, you can let it dry, you can go over again, and then you've got the history of it all coming through in certain places and getting covered up in other areas. So,
well, I've realized what I like and what I don't like.
that's
I don't
the most
like
important thing.
Yeah. What I don't like is loads of black, which I did to the lower left-hand quadrant, but I've learned from that to be more controlled about my application of black.
But if you know that you can get a certain effect with the black, and you know that you can always bring it back with more layers of thicker paint afterwards, you can have both worlds, can't you? You can have those nice effects that you had with the black, but less of it. I think that's what you're saying.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And, you know, there's no right or wrong answer.
Exactly.
It's basically a process of putting on paper what you feel at that precise moment. You can come back later and say, well, actually...
And exploring.
Well, I love what you've done, Gigi. It looks beautiful. You've somehow managed for all the colours to flow from one quadrant to another, and you can just see it. It's
going
beautiful.
from one quadrant to another, and I'm not trying to make any box a particular thing. Can I show you something else you're going to like?
Yes, please.
Bubble wrap.
I love this. I don't know if we've got any bubble wrap. I do this. I've done this with the kids in the past.
A flat brush across the bubble wrap with some fairly thick paint. You might want to try this, Lucy. So just a bit of thick paint over the top. It's obviously going to show more in an area which is lighter, so I'm going to try and go over my whitish area there. Just turn it over, place it down, and just give it a little bit of a press down.
Oh, that's stunning.
And then you get that lovely effect you couldn't get.
That's not only stunning, that's also very satisfying to watch.
Exactly. It is.
Yeah.
Mena, can you help me get a bubble wrap, please?
You can also take...
Just going to apply it over.
Random bits of cardboard.
We've got bubble wrap.
Put random edges of things into the paint.
Just all over that section, please.
What colour?
See, I've got
what colour? How about in red, please?
Press that down on a dark area, Adam. Look.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We're just doing the bubble wrap on our lightest quadrant. Wish us luck. I think it will be a very stunning effect. Let's hope.
Lucy, have you got any bubble wrap?
I think we need more water.
Lovely. It's the paint quite thickly on the bubble wrap, and then you'll get a more striking effect.
Yeah, I think I messed up one quadrant with my black paint.
There's no such thing as messing up. That's
okay.
Great.
It doesn't look the way I wanted to.
Well, Rada, move on to another part with paper and then come back to that later when it's a little bit drier and you have fresh eyes and you're not being
lovely.
Do we want to see how Lucy or Henry?
Yeah, Lucy was about to use the bubble wrap just then, so that could be quite cool to see. Do you want to share? Oh,
I love it.
That. How about something really bright in colour now? Have you got a yellow or something?
Yes.
How about putting some of that on and see what happens?
Okay.
And how about you, Henry? How are we getting on?
Henry's over here. There he is.
Oh,
I love that.
lovely.
Wrong way up. Oh, sorry. There we go. Yeah.
just love those. I love the
you.
squiggly lines there. They're so expressive.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love the top right quadrant. It's
Yeah.
developing into some kind of dragon, stroke mermaid, stroke
Yeah, that's
centipede.
It's Welsh.
happy
isn't it?
square, isn't it? It's happy
Yeah.
square, Henry. There you go. Oh, I got mine too.
Oh, good girl.
Oh my
You're doing
gosh,
wonderful. Excellent.
that's
Yeah.
lovely.
Sorry, can
I
I ask
am
you to hold it again because my computer was playing up. Would you hold yours up again?
Oh, what, mine? Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you. Oh, I love it.
Fab.
Thank you. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
It's so interesting how everyone's expressing something different today.
Exactly. It really shows us to be the individuals that we are and reminds us that we should never try and be like someone else, you know.
Yeah.
It's our own voice. I'm going to
And I think oh, sorry. Gigi, I interrupted your audio. Are you still on audio?
I am, I think. Can you hear me?
Yes. I just wanted to say I think the lesson that I've gained today is that there's no right answer and just do what feels right to you.
And what is fun? Go with
Yeah.
what gives you joy first and foremost, and it'll show, won't it?
Yeah, I can't wait till this dries off and I can paint some light colors on this black quadrant.
Can I show you one I did before, simply because it's one I did on paper that I taped first. I said I was going to use that today, didn't I? But I didn't. So, ooh, I nearly put that down on my paint. It would be a bad move. So it's a bit bigger, but you can see some of those squares there. A larger piece of paper that I taped first, like that. And then I pulled the edges up, and that gave me lovely crisp edges on each of my boxes.
That looks so professional, Gigi.
Well,
that looks like it belongs in a
with
museum.
tape, and you'll find the same, you know. It gives you a sort of, it helps you see it somehow when it's in separate things. But with the ones where you folded the paper first, just afterwards, cut it into 4, and you'll have the same effect. But it will help you see what's going on more, you know.
Well, I can need to get some masking tape. That's
Remember,
lovely.
it's got to be the low tack type.
So that, otherwise it will rip it.
Yeah. And you might find, if you've got heavy watercolor paper or something like that, it might not rip it. But it's safer to maybe give the piece of paper a coat of white emulsion first, you know?
Well, it's such a lot of fun. Thank you, Gigi.
Well, I'm going to suggest that you could do this again, try it again and again, and go for something different each time. Like maybe give yourself a limited amount of materials or a limited amount of colours, and try something different each time. And that way you'll find out what works and what doesn't.
I'm definitely going to try the tape.
Right.
Because I think it gives such a good finish. It looks like it belongs in a museum, what you've done.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I did enjoy it. And I have to say, I felt freer working like that than I do when I'm, say, doing something like the ones behind me, where I've got a preconceived idea. I find it harder to loosen up unless I try and take this approach, you know, risk making something that looks awful, and you might discover something you couldn't do before.
So, Gigi, you do landscape painting and abstract. What's the difference? And which one do you prefer? Or does it depend on the day and on your mood?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I've always wanted to be more abstract than I am. But somehow the control freak in me wants it to look technically correct, because I trained, you know, they teach you all kinds of theories and techniques, which are very hard to let go of later when you want to be more expressive. So really what I want is somewhere in between I want it to suggest something, but not say exactly, this is exactly how the window went or the tree looked, and this is anatomically correct or something like that. So
And you can do both, just wonderful.
yeah, I'm edging more and more towards the abstract, but it's not quite there. Nobody's ever there. It's all a voyage of discovery.
So do you think that it's important to enable everyone to try art?
Absolutely, because like I said before, you know, we weren't born, some of us artists and some of us not. You know, we all drew and created as children, and then somewhere along the line we were kind of subliminally told that, oh well, you're good at making an apple look like an apple, you must be artistic, and you go for sport or something like that, you know. Whereas I think we're all on a level playing field when we're children, and we just need to get back to that place and not feel we're not allowed to be creative, you know. Everybody's allowed, and everybody's allowed to explore like this and discover what it is that they like doing. Yeah. I've lost your audio, Rada. So I'm just wondering if I should be, we're okay for time at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah.
How much time do we want? Any more on this exercise now?
I'm happy to let it dry.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, shall we talk about how we can use these techniques for the homework task?
Yes, please, Gigi.
Yeah, so if I just remind myself what we said. So we said, if you were an animal or a bird, what would you be? I think I might know what Lucy would be.
I think I'd be a peacock.
I think
they're
Lucy
so
might be a
beautiful.
horse, might be Lucy. Is that your favourite animal?
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
If you were an animal, what kind of animal do you think you'd be?
I'd probably want to be a praying mantis.
A praying mantis?
Wow,
Wow.
praying mantis. Wow.
Why? Can you tell us why?
I don't know, they're just cool. I'd also quite like to be one of those giant snails.
Oh, whoa.
African land snails.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
And if I asked you, say I'm talking to you now as an African land snail, what is your character?
Slow and calm and generally a bit boring.
Oh, but maybe someone will come to if we want to feel we need to calm down.
Yeah.
A little bit of sensible advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all need that in this scary time.
Yeah.
We all need to calm down a bit and realize what's actually important.
Yeah.
So let's all be like the snail.
Well, really, the homework is all about trying to find that animal and relate it to what's inside of you, because I think maybe sometimes we choose an animal that expresses something about our own personality, and if you keep that in mind, we might have a little bit more fun with the actual exercise. So once you've chosen your animal, I want you to think about what are the personality traits. You know, is this a straightforward, conventional African snail, or has he got hidden depths? Has he got, is he a fan of a certain kind of food? Does he like certain kind of plants or something like that?
Is he a goth?
Yeah.
Basically,
exactly.
I get the sentiment that the snail is a bit edgy.
Yeah.
Calm but edgy and slightly malevolent.
Yes.
But that's just me.
And would there be, think about colours you'd associate with that snail and their personality. Yeah. And think about animals, how they sometimes only bring certain colours out in certain situations. Like your peacock, Rada. And the peacock wants to show off. They're going, hey, look at me and all my beautiful colours.
Yeah. Does
maybe
this mean
the
I'm an
snail has a hidden
extrovert?
side to them as well.
Yeah, yeah. I love the idea. It's very colorful and
So,
also very confident.
yes.
But you know, in reality, a peacock isn't the top of the food chain. I don't know what eats peacocks, so I might have to have the peacock showing off and then a snake or something preparing to eat it.
Okay. So basically, you're
But
going to
that's
be
just me.
thinking about all characteristics of your chosen animal or animals. There's nothing wrong with having a couple in there. And start off with trying to do a one-liner drawing of them, or a few one-liner drawings of them, like you did earlier, because that way you can get a kind of quirky idea going, things that you wouldn't have decided in advance. You're not going to be worrying too much about the shape of the snail's shell exactly, but it's going to give you some ideas to play with. Yeah, so just do the same warm-up yourself at home with that animal idea, and then do another one of these, trying to channel all those ideas that you were having along the way. You know, what colors would you choose to do this particular exercise? And what marks could you make that you think go with that idea? I mean, I'd be really, really interested in textures on the outside of the shell, for instance. And you know how you get certain shells, they've got a sheen on them. You get that kind of iridescent, look at it in one way, the colors look different from when you look at it the other way, depending on how the light's falling on it. Well, I'd want to play with things like that, what kind of distinctive marks they'd have. Yeah, before you actually go on to your A3 piece of artboard to make the final thing. I'm basically just suggesting you approach it like this, like we've been doing this exercise today, just to try and get a bit more expression into it rather than trying to draw an anatomically correct giant snail. And you could think of the background and so on, couldn't you?
I've got an amazing idea of what to do with that A3 artboard. I'm going to get hold of some masking tape.
Yeah.
And I'm basically going to have 4 quadrants of the same animal in different moods and different situations.
Lovely idea.
Yeah, so when we all meet up again in October, I shall be sending you an email. You know, have a go at what Gigi has suggested, and let's all meet up and show what we've made.
Yeah, brilliant.
So, Sarah, I can show you our quadrant painting if somebody puts the spotlight on me.
Yeah.
And if everyone who's still in the session could do that, it would be a nice record for us of what we've achieved.
Yeah, could you hold it up just slightly higher, or could Mena help you? Actually, that's hold it very still now. That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
And
I thought you were going to get a gallery view, no?
oh yeah, okay, that's great. Gigi, just hold it there. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Oh,
Definitely.
Yeah, I love
do it
it.
3 times in that house.
I love that. I love that.
Plotted around. There's a lot of movement in there, isn't there?
I love the concentration of the dark colors on some Keris's.
Thank you, Keris.
Gorgeous.
And lost my bone. Oh,
And
thank
more
you.
mums.
Just slightly over. That's great. Thank you.
Lovely.
Yay.
Brilliant.
So are you ready for the final roundup exercise?
Yes, please.
So I'm not sure if we'll be finishing slightly earlier than you planned, rather.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's because Dan and Bryn had to break for lunch. But once we make the video, maybe they can carry on in their own time.
Yeah.
I doubt they'll be coming back.
Okay. Right. If I move over to the top camera again. So we made some blobs, didn't we? And are they dry? Is everyone else's dry?
Mena, could you bring our blobs back, please? I'm not sure where they went. Give me a minute. I'm just going to go and search for the blobs. Mena, I've been abandoned. It's okay.
And you need a nice black pen.
Okay. I need the blobs that we made from the first exercise and a black pen. Okay, blobs returning. Oh, wow. I've forgotten what we've done.
So I'm going to move this.
Thank you, love.
They're quite different when they're dry, aren't they?
Oh, they're beautiful. A lot more fluid than what I'd imagined. I remembered.
Yeah.
Okay, Mena, could you pass me a black pen? We have to do something to the blobs with the black pen.
This is really about seeing the beauty in random marks, you know.
Yeah.
Because you've just been making things out of random marks and gestural movement, things that you're feeling, marks that you're feeling rather than planning.
Right, what do we do with the blobs?
So we've got your random marks in the blobs.
Yeah.
And now we're going to have a good look at them, each one, and see if you can see anything in them. Do they make you think of anything?
Yes. Got a green mark here that makes me think of a seahorse.
Yeah. Right, what I want you to try and do is add as few marks in your black pen as you need to make that idea clear. So we don't want to go overboard. I'll show you an example here, right? So this orange blob before just made me think of a kind of squirrel type creature. And I added just enough to make it that idea clear. This one, I don't know what it was supposed to be, but that's the direction it led me in. So this one here, I'm thinking looks a little bit like an orange cat that's about to sneak up on something. So I'm just going to add a few lines to show his shape a bit more. Perhaps we need another line here. Can anybody see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Does it look like my orange cat creeping up on something? Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't.
I can see it.
They could be totally off the wall as well, look. Just adding eyes or a beak or feet or something like that will bring life to your blob. There's some others that I've done on a previous.
Yeah. Can you see what it is, Beep? Probably not.
Looks like a dragon.
Yeah, it's a seahorse.
It's usually best to go with your first thought.
Yeah. I can see it. It's forcing me to think about what a seahorse looks like.
Well, it's forcing you to think about what it feels like in your mind's eye rather than...
Yeah. Oh, that one looks like a big, scary green spider.
Some of them are easier than others, I find.
Yeah.
This is quite grotesque. some kind of creature spitting something. No, he's got a big tongue. It's a bit like playing Pictionary in a way, isn't it? With your own
it's.
doodles.
I mean, you can't control where the splodging goes.
No.
So it's not going to be, exactly right, is it?
No.
Can we see somebody else's when they're ready? That would be great, wouldn't it? Thank you.
Oh, it's not very good.
Well, that's something you haven't learned, Radha. You keep saying it's not very good. There's no.
I know, there's no right or wrong. So I tried to do a seahorse.
I think he's lovely. Can we get it closer? Yeah. Fab. You see, I think that's gorgeous.
Radha,
Thank you.
just pull it away a little bit, Radha, so I can see it.
How's that?
You've even got the plants that the underwater plants.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. You're right.
And the wateriness of the paint that's gone down adds to that, doesn't it?
Yeah. What about you, Lucy?
We're having difficulty because we've got a very full page of
blobs. Ah, yes.
Oh, I love it.
Beautiful.
You see the bit on the blue bit on the bottom right? How about trying to add some kind of face there? To me, it looks like some kind of sea creature coming out of the seaweed.
I see that too.
Yeah. Looks a bit fish-like, doesn't it? Yeah. Should we try that?
Or a blue whale.
Or a blue whale. Oh, yes. That does look like that, actually. We'll give that a go, shall we, Lucy?
And you could always try this again, Lucy, with more blobs. Make some blobs to try later, but fewer of them, just like individual ones, separate ones, so that you've got more to play with. Did Henry have a go? Did Mum have a go?
Go on, Mum.
Okay. Well, yeah, I had the same kind of blobs.
Oh, wow.
No, it runs in the family, but that is definitely something you see in the rock pools off the prom, yeah?
Indeed, that's right.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Okay, should we do whales then?
Do you mind me asking where you are in Aber?
Hang on.
Yeah, we're on music.
We're on music, okay. We're in Penryn Coch, so about 3 miles from Aberystwyth.
Ah, right. In which direction is that then?
Inland a bit, as if you're travelling towards Machynlleth.
Right, I got you.
Yeah.
In my 3rd year, I lived in Llanilla.
Oh, that's further south a little bit, yeah.
Llanbaden, yeah.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
May I ask, ydych chi'n siarad Cymraeg?
Ydw, dwi'n siarad Cymraeg.
Oh, da iawn. Dwi wedi dysgu a ni'n magu y plant gyda ysgol ddiweddiaethog a maen nhw'n siarad Cymraeg.
Wel, da iawn ti. Dwi wedi dysgu Cymraeg yn yr ysgol pan o'n i'n fach, ond Saesneg di'r iaith adre, felly Saesneg yn ei siarad efo'r plant.
A dwi'n siarad Saesneg gyda plant yn aml achos fy mamiaeth yw Saesneg a Ffrangeg, felly dwi'n ceisio fy ngorau i ymarfer siarad Cymraeg gyda pobl fel chi.
Wel, na ni, da iawn ti, cario ymlaen, ac mae'n peth da bod pobl yn dysgu Cymraeg ac yn dysgu Cymraeg efo'r plant.
Dwi'n meddwl. Diolch yn fawr. And thank you so much for joining us today. Gigi, I think we could probably wrap up the session. It's been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for taking us on this creative journey. I've enjoyed it so much.
I would say especially to Lucy and Henry there, who've really been throwing themselves into the whole exercise there.
It's a real mess here. Thank you so much.
Well, Mum,
sorry,
but it's art. It's
art. I know.
There we go.
I'll just clear it up later. Yeah, it's been great. We've had a lot of fun here. We've got some lovely art to go on the walls. So, it's been great.
I look forward to seeing what you do with your animal portrait.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I'll be in touch about our follow-up meeting in October. in which Gigi will be there, but also our next art workshop will be portraiture with Oriane Pierpoint. And we're hoping to do a joint follow-up just so people can show what they've been able to create over the summer, and come back in September or October. Actually, our next art workshop is in September, so I'll be in touch with details.
Thank you, that's great. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So much.
Bye.